Okay. And by taking the Jagadguru, Sringeri Jagadguru's, Ubay Jagadguru's grace and Sri Krishna Paramatma's grace, we are getting into the um, summary of chapter number 15. And just put up with me a little bit extra time if need to be. We are starting at 4:10. I will try to finish it about 5:15. This chapter being very important, though there are only 20 shlokas, the efficacy and the purport that is being rendered in this chapter by Bhagavan Sri Krishna is Atyantam Adbhutam. When I say so ultimate, to epitomize and also to summarize that in the end, Bhagavan says, Idam Shastram. So, meaning to say, the whole Gita Shastram has been condensed into this 15th chapter, which is called Purushotama Yoga. So, because and so it has been the practice in many houses, in many institutions, in many Swamijis, as they know, before they have their food, they normally chant this 15th chapter Purushottama Yoga. And that is being normally done for two reasons. One is in this chapter, Krishna will say, I am the one that makes the digestion happen. I eat in different ways, that's one thing he very, very clearly, spashtam, that is very clearly he depicts in one of the shloka. And also, there is a sampradayam in our tradition that we have our food after we learn the Shastra. That is to do some study and then eat. So whatever they might have studied or not, then they think, okay, having read 15th chapter or chanted even once, the whole Gita is as if chanted, or the jnanam has been practiced or abhyasam. So that is one thing. That is why 15th chapter, just telling you the importance before we get into that. And then we'll go in the regular way, setting the context and getting into the summary of them as well. So that is one of the main thing. And also uh, giving into the tattvartha or the meaning as we go in this, you will observe it's very, very nice. Very, it is quite, I won't say it's difficult to understand. We will absolutely make it a bit as much as I can in my little ability to bring it into the focus, the summary in a very explicit manner, not getting it okay, I'll try to put it in a nice manner. But having said that, please stop me, or you are happy to kind of interactively ask me as well, because there are a lot of similes which are kind of referred back and forth in this chapter. And everything is, of course, based on Upanishads and Vedas. Okay. So now this Purushottama Yoga, as you know, is 15th chapter, which is in the third triplet, as we said, which is in the Ishvara Tattvam. Okay. Now, coming to the context from the previous 14th chapter, because we always set the context before we get into the chapter summary, the regular fashion we do, so that there is a continuity when you do from the previous chapter summary reading or, practicing. So, in the 14th chapter, which is what? Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, right? So, in the Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, Bhagavan said, Mamcha yobhyabhicarena bhakti yogena sevate. I'll just bring it in. Sevate sagunan samati ityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. I'll just bring that one. I don't, that's okay. It's be very quick. I went too fast. Yeah. That's why I like this PDF file, because it's very light. Okay. So in the 14th chapter, in the last but second shloka, this one. Mamcha yobhyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samati ityaitan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So what Bhagavan said, The one that has thus also abhicharena bhakti yogena sevate, one who has got that complete devotion into me through my devotion, and that who has practiced his guna, the sattva rajas tamas guna, and that to cross over that atita, for him, with that jnanam and with the bhakti yogena, with that one that he has surrendered unto me, I will give him that Brahma Jnana. That's what he says, Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate. But and that also Brahmano hi pratishtoham amritasya yasya. So he says, I am the one that is there as a Brahman, and Shashvatasya Dharmasya Sukha Saikantikasya. With that, he gets the moksha in short. So, by the unswerving Ananya Bhakti on Lord Krishna, one who has crosses these three gunas, become a gunatita and attain moksha. So Bhagavan thinking kind of without Arjuna asking a doubt in this chapter, he wants to kind of know, okay, now he knows Arjuna will think, how may a human being attain that Brahmanhood or Brahma Tattvam by becoming a transcender of gunas? So what is the relation of gunatita and the Brahma Jnana? That is a kind of a doubt for everybody that could come. So Bhagavan, understanding that doubt, he wants to he wants to focus on that, and he wants to give the Atma Tattvam. So to give the Atma Tattvam, so he goes with that one here. No, not that one. Let's get back to that 15th chapter, numbered one. Now, what we need to understand is, to get to the Brahma Jnanam, what are the qualifications for a adhikari? Or what is it really? Meaning to say, we are all, I think it's here. Yes. So, to get the Atma Jnanam really, what Bhagavan wants to also say this, the moksham, the concept of moksha, as we say, is that I don't want to be in this cyclic birth of birth and death and birth and death and everything. Meaning to say that even whatever worship, puja and everything we do, we want to put an have a end to this, not the cyclical thing of, give me that, give me that, or, for the benefit of me or the family, everything, it wants to come to a stop because you want to get that enough is enough, that kind of a dispassion. But it is not like that vairagyam that the person who needs to get from the samsaram, for him the moksha jnanam, at that really the jnanam will be there very much in him. Otherwise, the jnanam is there as if to get some happiness temporarily, but then again he cycled back into the transcendental nature of, not transcendental, the transactional nature of vyavaharikam. Right? So Bhagavan wants to tell Arjuna, look, Arjuna, understand this samsara tree, the samsara in which we are all born. If having that whole perspective of the samsara tree, then the dispassion also comes along, and the dispassion having come into that particular person, because of which he is also wanting to get away from the three gunan. And for him, then the Shastra makes a good sense for him to use the samsara to get out of it. Because we are already caught in the cycle. So Bhagavan, that's why he starts with the first shloka. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Urdhva Moola Madhashakam Ashvattam Prahurabjayam Chandamsi Yasya Parnani Yastam Vedasa Vedavit. So Bhagavan wants to straight away talk in this, give the knowledge, taking an example in this particular chapter. Understand? So the Jnana Vairagyam in this particular samsara vriksham, how it is planted into a person and how he is caught. Because first thing is, you see, we should have a feeling that I am caught or I am bound. Then only the moksha comes. If this samsara is very happy. For example, hey, I like this bondage, then there is no moksha desire in any of us, really. Right? If the samsara bandha, meaning to say the one that we are caught in the job or as a husband, the wife and son or father or grandfather, if that is really very nice, okay, maybe I need a change, but then the attachment is there, then really the moksha doesn't come. So first is for the person to understand that, yes, I am bound. I want to set myself free. Right? That vairagyam, that is required. And the jnana then works in that person. So putting all these things into perspective, so Bhagavan says, Arjuna, understand this one, because sometimes somebody has to tell us, hey, you are caught. You have got a chain around you. Otherwise, the chain looks like a beautiful rose garland, you know. So that what Bhagavan says is, Arjuna, in this whole creation of the whole samsara, when he says vriksham, meaning to say a tree, and Bhagavan calls it in this one as Ashwatham. Ashwatham means the people tree, right? The people tree. You know, the people tree has got one root, and then it goes with a long branches going everywhere. Then it plants a root underneath. From there, another tree goes. So, you know, it spreads its branches and puts the root down, and that again springs forth, and the whole tree, the people tree, goes in multitude directions. And that's what Bhagavan is taking as an example. And in that he is saying, so in this tree is very important up to the end of this chapter. We have to keep this in focus. So in the tree, the first thing is, and Bhagavan says, Urdhva Moolam. So this is kind of a very, he says Urdhva means on top. He says on top is the root. Moolam is root. Urdhva means on top. In top is the root. Stating it's straight away top. The first word itself is takes it in a kind of a thing we don't literally see. So everything is a logical statement here. So what he's saying logically is, you know, you put an organization tree, right? Sashi, Bhaiya, all of you would have done. In the organization tree, what do you put? You put the topmost boss, chairman and managing director on top. He's the moolam. Right? So, yes, like that also we call, what do we do? Organization tree. That also we call tree, vriksham. Similarly, Bhagavan is referring to that one. Consider as if in this people tree, as if you are considering the organization tree, the moolam, if there is a complete, the first one, take that urdhva moolam, that is Brahman. That is a Brahman. Because we do not want to be caught as if from a seed and the tree, which is a seed, which when was a seed happen, how did the seed come? Then we will get into a epicyclical infinity where we will never be able to catch the top front. Bhagavan, having known that, straight away he deciphers that confusion and says, Urdhva Moolam. The Urdhva Moolam is the Brahman, he says. So it's a hypothetical thing. Okay. Urdhva Moolam is Brahman. That is a Sachidananda Swarupam. That is a Atman. And that is the identity of my true identity, everybody's identity. Because Bhagavan says, Ahamatma Brahma. Ahamatma Gudakesha. That Urdhva Moolam. Then Shakam is branches. Other Shakam, he says the branches are downwards. But normally, how do we say? Tree root is down, branches on top. But he says the branches are on top or down. So meaning to say, from a logical statement again, not from a gross statement of a tree. So logically then he says, having this Brahman as the real topmost root of this creation tree, take the first tree which has got the first trunk. And in that there are branches. So he says, this Shakam, that though it is represented as a downwards, but from the creation of the Brahman, and that Shakam or that trunk, branches from where the branch comes from the trunk, that considered as a Maya. Straight away I'm going there. And that, so the Maya is the trunk. The real root of the whole thing is the Brahman. And he says, and this tree is called Ashwatam. He says, because Prahu Avyayam. Prahu means thus it is told. So Ashwatam is the name of the tree. So even in that word, there is a logical meaning embedded. Why? In Sanskrit, when we say Shva, means tomorrow. And when a word A comes before Shva, that negates. Like Dharma means the courageous one. When you put A, it becomes Adharma. Adharma means it is a wrong dharma, right? So A negates anything. So Ashwatam means there is no tomorrow, meaning to say this tree is as if not having a tomorrow, like a futureless. Meaning to say it's in a constant fluid state of non-existence, as if. See, that's what I'm saying. Every word so logical, isn't it? But then you'll appreciate it as we go through that. Ashwatam. And it is also Avyayam, he says. Avyayam means immutable. Because you will get to all of them in the subsequent shloka. Okay. And in that, Chandamsi yasya parnani. The leaves are the Vedas. Chanda here means the Vedas. So he says, Arjuna, I created this particular whole creation with Brahman as the foremost, the root, of which the Brahman used the Maya for doing a physical creation of transactional entity. And where for this creation, which is a tree in whole, which is called the Ashwatam, for that tree is sustained by giving the knowledge of Vedas. That's how all the Puranas also come, right? Okay. So the leaves, why they are called leaves? Because in a tree, for it to nourish, the leaves is the one which goes and takes the photosynthesis and gets the sun and everything, and that's the one it is nourished. So the whole world nourishes by these Vedas, by his knowledge. And that is why he says, Yastam Vedasa Vita Vedavit. And one who knows this particular tree will be a Vedavit. He will know all the Vedas as well. So you see, all the statement in this is, but he will decipher this logical statement. So do not get immediately, but I hope you got at least the logical dialogue, what Bhagavan wants to render, just keeping one tree. The first trunk, the logical root, which is the organization tree, like the person I told you, put on the top, and that has got some branches, which is the real branches, which is the different creation in this world, and the leaves are the Vedas by which the tree is nourished. Okay, now we are going to understand this tree more, because Bhagavan said, Yastam Veda vid, the Tam Yaha Veda, Tam Yaha Veda, Saha Vedavit. One who knows this becomes a knower of the Vedas or the Veda Jnanam. So he is going to, so he has put this hypothetical statement, and he is going to give you more detailed information. And he says, Adaschodam Prastas. So Tasya, so we can, because we have put the number, we can clearly also get to the meaning more in this one. Right? So Tasya, this number one, Shakaha, that branches, Arjuna, Guna Pravriddhaha. There is a number 3 here, Gunam. So now the 3 Guna is linking to the tree, Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. So he says the Shakaha, the branches, are the one by which all the Sattva, Raja, Gunaha, that is the one they have gone spread out into consuming Vishaya, and with that Vishaya Pravalaha. This world has been created for the objects for enjoyment, because they are Vishaya objects for Vishaya Pravalaha. They have gone into spreading this one for the people to consume as objects. And Tasya Vishaya Pravalaha Adaha Urdhvam Cha Prasirtaha. Where you see, he says Vishaya Pravalaha Adaha. This Adaha is different Adaha. Adaha means downwards. Adaha Urdhvam. urdvam cha prasirtaha. So here the branch is there, right? Say there's a branch going. When a branch goes, he says there are two directions. This branch has got a subsequent sub-branch. Sub-branch. One branch goes up, one branch goes down. You have the tree. Then you have a branch going like this. From this branch, there are two sub-branches. He says, in these two sub-branch, Arjuna, one goes up, one goes down. So that is why he says, Adaha cha, Adaha means one going downward branch, and Urdhvam cha, because of the guna, sattva rajas guna. Right? And in that, so there are some branches which goes upwards, and there are some branches which goes downwards. Prasirtaha. Where? In this Manushya Loke. Urdhvam cha prasirtaha. Here is the Manushya Loke. Manushya Loke, number 9. So 8 we said, Urdhvam cha Adam cha prasirtaha. Where? In the Manushya Loke. Only in the human beings. Because again, linked to chapter number 14, we says, Urdhvam gacchanti sattvastaha, madhye tishtanti rajasaha, jaganya guna vriddhistaha, adho gacchanti tamasaha. Can we relate to that one? We remember in 14th chapter we said, handling the three gunas, Bhagavan said, you know, Arjuna, the one people who have taken the sattva guna, they go upwards. So in this branch, the one that is going up are the people who are taken the sattva guna and they go upwards. And there are one set of people who have taken the tamasa guna and they have gone downwards. That's what Bhagavan wants to. Now he is linking the 14 chapters guna. And he's giving, this is how things are happening. That's all. He's taking the beautiful thing. Having said that, Manushya Loke, and then what he says, number 10, Karmanu Bandhini. And that's how the people have gone into having, because of they've got entoiled into three guna, and then having entoiled from these branches into going upwards and downwards, they have got entangled themselves in these actions. Mulani and Anusantatani. Mulana Anusantatani. And also, but they have also somehow joined, they are still in this Maya from this one. And then what he says, Mulanicha Adahacha Anusandatani. So that's how they have now caught in this particular Maya cycle within the tree. And then further he goes. And further he says, Narupamasega Tatopalabhyate Nantojanadin Sampradishta. So in the first two Samsara Vriksham, he told one main branch, and the other branch which went downwards, what does happen in people tree? It puts a root itself, right? It's in the down. And then there is another tree going from there. And indirectly what he's saying is, in this whole samsara vriksha, say there are 7.54 billion people in the world. There are 7.54 billion branches which have put a root. And that every one of us have put a root. You cannot totally say tamasa guna, but that because we want to put our tree. So you have put a branch down, and from there you put a branch. And that's how we were caught. You understand? So what Bhagavan, so there's a main trunk, which is called, which we will call in the later chapters, Akshara Purushaha. And then this one will be Kshara Purushaha, because this is another one where we have put this root, and then, as I said, 7.54 branches, no problem. And we are caught in this particular one. And the main object is to get out of the tree and go to the Brahman. That's the, say we have got, that's the kind of challenge. Let's say that's the challenge. I want to get out of this tree and get to the Brahman. Then I will not be having to be planting again and again my root, and then that root goes down. The next birth I come, I get another branch, and I keep brooding. I want to get out of this. That's the real aim, because I don't want to be caught in this. Because what do you do in each branch that you plant? You get a flower. And that flower is your icha, your kama, raga, dvesha, everything. And from there, what you do? You have a seed. So you sow a seed. So you understand. So that is how you are caught. So Bhagavan is coming to say in this whole chapter, look, Arjuna, now you put the, I'm just going a bit fast, but we'll come to the chapter. What? Because I just want the sequence of thoughts in you. So what Bhagavan is saying, look, Arjuna, this flowering is a nature for every tree, every branch. The flower is our icha. See, even in a tree, right? You know, a flower comes. Why a flower happens? Because the flower wants to pollinate and then have another tree. So that's what we are all as a grahastha, we come. Every action, just forget about our children only as a generation. Every action we do, we plant a seed to be born again. That icha is a flower in us. So what Bhagavan wants to say is that icha, what you have a flower, because you cannot completely get rid of that. What Bhagavan wants you to do is you use this nishkama karma yoga, and when you flower, if you do not degerminate the seeds in them, the seeds, when they come, they will not get you caught again, but they will let you go up the tree ladder to Brahman. Meaning to say, you degerminate the seeds out of your icha, because why you are doing it? The action you are doing it as Krishna Arpana. Nishkama karma yoga. Every action I do, from every flowering of the thought, that I am doing it as a Krishna Arpanam. Because again, Bhagavan said, Yagyartat karmano neta lokoyam karma bandhana tadartam karma kaunteya mukta sanda samachara. So if I do my action as a karma, nishkama karma yoga, I automatically degenerate the seeds that it may come out of it. Because every action I do has to plant a seed. But in that, every action, right from the thought, if I do as nishkama karma yoga, I degerminate, then slowly I get out of this tree, samsara vriksha. So now we are able to see that logical embedding from these all. And so Bhagavan says, in this particular one, Narupamaseva tatopalabhyate. He says, Asya, actually, in this particular samsara vriksham Arjuna, if you so yeah, this one, Asya rupam tata iha na upalabhyate. Actually, Arjuna, I've just only given you this vriksha as a kind of an example. Actually, in its true form, nobody can get it. Meaning to say, the Maya, nobody can understand Maya. Why? Because it's only a virtual entity. The tree is also virtual. The way that we are perceiving this Maya is also virtual. So that is why it has got no real existence. It's only a virtual thing. So meaning to say, this bondage itself is virtual. That is why this chapter is quite deep. But having said that, it's very beautiful to understand the way we are caught in between. Why? Because he says, na adi, na antaha, na adi. Because this vriksha itself has got, this Maya has got no adi, na anta, na just sampratishta. It's not that it is also well established. It's in an always fluid, dynamic thing. You cannot say this is what it is at any point of time, and neither it has got a beginning nor at the end. But the only way you can get out of this, Arjuna, Subirudamilam Asanga Shastrena Dritena Chitwa. See? This one, 18, 19, 20. The way you can get out of this, Arjuna, if you want an axe, you think, I want to cut myself out of this tree with an axe. He says, the only way the axe is going to work with you is Asanga Shastrena. That Asanga Shastrena is equal to Nishkama Karma Yoga. With the Nishkama Karma Yoga, every action you do, you are getting yourself out of the tree. And when we get out of in such a manner, Bhagavan says, Tatavpadam tat parimargitavyam. Once you have got getting the, you're degerminating your flowers slowly, as in every flower, because you're now reducing the actions of to be born again. What happens in Arjuna? Tataha yasmin gata. And he says this is such a beautiful Asanga Shastram. This Asanga Shastram means detachment weapon, the weapon of detachment. If having taken that weapon, Arjuna, you know what happens? He says, Yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Tataf padam tat parimagdadam yasmin gata na nivartanti bhuyaha. Tameva chadyam purusham prabhadye yataf pravritif prasada purani. And because this 3 and 4 the same shloka, because chitva means having broken. So that's why numbers are there. We won't go through every number because then we'll be caught for a long time. But what Bhagavan says is, you know, the Brahman, because we should not bring in the Urdhva Moolam. We want to go to the Urdhva Moolam. That Urdhva Moolam, Tataha, by this cutting the, degerminating the flower, the people, na bhuyaha, they don't, bhuyaha na pravartante, they do not have to be born again and again. And parimarg, by this low action of that, parimargitajam puranicha, evam, and how can you do along with that is, he says, purusham prapadye. Adyam, see, tam eva adyam purusham prapadye. While doing this, I know this taking the axe and detachment and cutting is very difficult for you. In that, take my help. Adyam purusham prapadye. Adya means that first primordial urdhva moolam purusham prapadye. Surrender unto him. Take his help. Which is meaning to say the Paramatman is there always for you to help in this journey of detachment journey. And prapadya means surrender unto him. He will, I am there to help you through this journey of detachment as well. Now, so far this one, main trunk is the Maya Pravriti. In that Brahman is the actual logical head. Then we said that went a branch. Then every branch is kind of our own entity kind of thing, I said. Right? That is one Kshara Purusha. That I'll come to the later one. Yeah. And then he said about the flowers and everything we do. And then he said about Asanga Shastram, because the whole thing is to get out of this epicyclical thing of getting caught in this Ashwata Vriksham, Samsara Vriksham. And that he said was Asanga Shastram, detachment. Your weapon is the best help in that. And in that, take my help. Tam Purusham Prabhadye. Absolutely, you will be able to get out of this one. Okay. And then Bhagavan goes further to say, Nirmana moha jasasanga doshaha dvantveri mukto sukha sukha daggaihi gacchante muda patamapyayam tat. And he says, this, the great yogis who have done from the previous way, Arjuna, what they have done is nirmana moha. Nirmana means that ego and delusion, and they have, and because this whole tree is filled up with dvanta moha, that is, there is always a likes and dislikes. Don't pay heed to the likes and dislikes, and then get caught in the duality. The flower looks very nice, the smell looks very nice, the fragrance is nice, but get out of it. Don't get caught into that. And that's how the people who have gone from this nirdvanta moha. The moha is the duality in nature in this tree. And from getting out of the duality of this nature and this creation of this tree, you certainly can adhyatma. And also that jita sangha doshaha, the sangam is the dosham, the flaws is in the attachment. How adhyatma nityaha, by the knowledge that I'm giving you, Arjuna, that knowledge is a potential weapon. By that asanga shastram will be able to take it in your hand. And by doing that, he says, tat avyayam tat padam gachanti. So that's how they have gone into the here. Padamapyayam gachanti. That's how the people have gone. And this is a journey that the mumukshus have taken. And then he says, and now Bhagavan wants to say about the Brahman who is also fostering this tree, the Paramapadam. That tat paramam padam, that purusham prapatye, this is what is a gachanti. That's what he says, the 12th here word. Gachanti asam mudaha. Asam muda means the wise man. That avyayam padam, tat padam avyayam. That tat padam means that tat Vishnor padam paramam padam. That Vishnoho padam, that padam, how it is, Bhagavan says this in the subsequent 6th and 7th slokas. What he says, Natat bhasayate suryaha nasashanko pavaha yad gatva nivartante tadhama paramam. My abode, because you may think how my abode is, that is the Dhamma means Dham. Isliye bolte na char Dham, means 4 place of abode. So that Dhaman here is Paramam, Mama Paramam means the abode of Brahman, that we are going to, that you are now aiming for, Arjuna. That Bhagavan says, Arjuna, even the sun is illuminates only because of my energy, the Chaitanyam in that. The moon also illuminates only because of my, that's what he says here. Natat bhasayate suryaha na bhasyate. Shashanka means what? Moon. Moon is not able to shine without me. So is the Agni. And that kind of a thing, because I am the one which gives radiation into all of them. And also the energy factor. It is, but what again Krishna why he wanted to bring in this one, say that the supreme, as because the Surya and other ones are the closest we can feel in his particular presence. And he says in the closest region as well as you can feel my presence, because that is all equal to knowledge here. We should not just take it as a luminance of just a physical light, but the jnanam. And that jnanam itself, that in everything that you may get, it is truly from my ability. And so again, Bhagavan says that I am the one illuminating inside you, really, to get to this one. So I am no different from you when you are trying to get to this moksha. That also Bhagavan says. And that is to again say, he says, you know how Arjuna, Mamaivamsho Jiva Loke, because all of you are really is a part of me. You are never separate from me. Because we may think, oh, that Brahman is sitting somewhere, I'm somewhere lost in a branch, I have to go. He says, no, Arjuna, you are all Jiva Loke, Mama Amshaha. You are also all my Amsha only. Even in this, as in an entity like Sashi or Babu or Chandrasekhar, all you are really is Amsha, he says. You are never different in any state, whether in the bonded state or in the released state. Sanatanaha. But in my Amsha, how am I replicating? Because why he wanted to bring the sun and moon? He says, in you, Arjuna, I am as your mind. Shashtani, Indriyani, Prakristani, Karshati. I am myself there in this one, but only thing is you are being drawn towards that object in the wrong direction instead of going in the direction that I am inside you. And that's what Bhagavan says. But having you gone into the Karshati means, Krishnati means attracted. By you attracted outside, not thinking that I am inside you, Shariram yadavapnoti yachapyutkramadishvaraha grihitvetani samyati vayurgandhani vashayat. As how, again, he is giving the same one. You know how the fragrance of the flower, that it goes by air, when there is a beautiful tree for, you can get the fragrance, that somehow like that, you are attracted more into this flower. I told you the actions, right? So that's the flower here is actually equal to the actions. In that you are gone more and more deluded into that. And then utkramanti. Utkrama means what? You die. The utkramam really means what? When you die, to be born again. You remember the chapter number 8 we said? So a person, if he is dying, that utkramam, the energy that you die at the time, he says you have taken the vasana with you, because you have planted the seed through those flowers, and the next janma you take it. Shariram yadavapnoti yachap utkramatishvaraha grihitvetani sayyati vayurgandhani vashayat. And you every subsequent birth you take, Arjuna, you are carrying forward this burden of attachments. But at the same time, it also indicates the detachments as well. So he says, the more and more you put this detachment, degerminate seeds, the less and less these kind of attachment is going to come from the subsequent birth. Otherwise, these attachments, if you think that from one birth, they are also coming to the other one, as how the smell has come from the flower into the seed, and then again it sprungs back, and then it comes. And that is why he says this, that's what he calls as vasana from one birth to the other birth. And then Shrotam Chakshusparshanam cha Rasanam Granamevacha Adhishtaya Manaschayam Vishayanupasevate. And that's how Arjuna, through all your karmendriyani, jnanendriyani, that this Vishaya Anupasevate, but instead of doing the Purusham Prabhadye, you have gone into the Upasevate, meaning to say, you have gone into attracting through those objects of your desire, through the organs that you have got it. And then again in the shloka 10, he says, Utkramantam sitam vapi bunjanan va gunanvitam vimuda nanu pashyanti jnana chakshushaha. So there are three states in this one, he says. Utkramantam. Utkramantam means at the time of transgression from one jivatma into the another jivatma. Right? And stitam. Stitam means that you are while staying in the physical body. And bunjanan, meaning to say, while consuming in that body. Vimudaha, meaning to say, the unwise people do not even see that how this attraction of flowers and the other moha is again and again making you born in this particular cycle. But jnana chakshushaha, this is very important. The one who have got this wise knowledge that I'm giving you through that, they understand this particular virtual bondage. That's why I'm saying virtual bondage. It's not truly a bondage, but it's this virtual bondage they see, and they virtually also try to get out of it. That's the main thing Bhagavan says. Jnana chakshusha pashyanti. Of this particular epicyclic state of transgression of being born and again and getting caught into this. And for that, Arjuna, the one thing that you need is to yatantaha. So he says, yatantaha, yoginaha. The yogis are the one who put lot of efforts here. Yati means who have controlled the organs. So meaning to say, he says, indriya nigraham avashyakam. Right from the start. You remember in chapter sloka, Tasma Tamindriyan Yadav Nigrihi Tas Niyam Yabbaratar Shabam Tasyan Tas Adav Indriyani Grigamya. So that Yatantaha Yoginaha, they are the one Pashyanti Atman Avasthitam. The knowledge alone is not enough, Arjuna, Jnana Chakshushaha. For the jnana to work, really, that Yatantaha means this Indriya Nigraha, this control of the organs, because the organs are always going to karshati. It is going to take you outside. But if your Indriya Nigraham with the Vairagyam, saying that no, and it takes an effort, that's why it's called Yatantaha, meaning to say it takes some effort. Abhyasena gaunteya, vairagyena cha grikhyate. And with that effort and with the jnana chakshusha, pashyanti atman avasthitam, those are the people who are there in that atma jnana all the time. They have successfully come out of this virtual bondage in the tree. But yatantaha api akritatmanaha nainam pashyanti achetasaha. But if here akritatmanaha, meaning to say avivekinaha, people who have not, meaning to say, have gone into the adharma and also to go behind that luring things in this maya, they are not able to attain this. But the yogis who have got the yatis, they have been successfully have been attained. Okay. Now, from the shloka number 12, no, we'll go more. And also, Bhagavan wants to give you more in this one. Yeah, this 12 and 13, 14, beautiful. 13 and 14 we'll do more. Yadaditya kadam tejaga jagat bhasayate kilam yas chandramasi yachagno tattejo vidhi mamakam. So he says again, in this, the Nashashanko Pava is that same shloka, but in a slightly different one, he has said here. Adityagat, he says, Tatpadam, because again Bhagavan is telling more about the Tatpadam Vishnu, that he says, in all these effect, the Tejaha, if you are wanting to do the Yatantaha for doing an Indra Nigraham, I am there in you as a Tejas. And it's the same Tejas which is there in the Adityagatam. It is also there in the Akilam Bhasayate. And with that same Tejaha, I am there in you. Vidhi Mamakam. I am there in your as well the Tejas. Only reach up to the Tejas for within you to get that one, and I will shine forth 10 times more for you to get that Indriya Nigraham for the moksha. That's why Bhagavan wanted to say. Taddejo Vidhi. And how I can, even Bhagavan then goes in the shloka number 13, 14, Gama Vishya Bhutani. In that one from there, Bhagavan wants to even give more about his pravriti and how he is there shining in all of us. Gam means Prithvi, this earth. So he's again giving you a earthly example. Gam avishya bhutani dharayam aham ojasa pushnami chaushadhi sarvaha somo bhutva rasatmakaha. Arjuna, he says, take in this earth your consumption as a consumer himself. You are going to have this food. Look at the food, even what you consume, Arjuna. You know how you get that food? Because I have Gam means in the earth. Avisha means having me penetrated into this earth. Bhutani Dharayam. I am uplifting you. I am holding you. Even when you are, the food that you get, वो बोलते हैं ना दाने दाने में लिखा है खाने वाले का नाम, was given that to get to that one. I have penetrated into every one of the food particles that you eat. And how do I do that? With a ojas. Ojas means that particular energy in that by which I can give you the energy to again live and also to survive, and then you can do procreate as well in all of them. Pushnami chaushadhi sarva. Aushadhi means like a medicine, because annam is like a medicine. And how it is? Soma bhutva rasatmakaha. And every annam in that, what he says is there soman. Soman means, normally it also means moon. But here, the soman means it is the nourishing factor in every food that you eat. And rasa atmakaha, meaning to say, and also the one in this rasa means not take totally as a taste, but that the energy and the multiple vitamins or whatever we look into that one, by which you are able to sustain, that itself is in that annam. I am there as the food that you eat, by which you are able to survive today. And then having to, annam is soman. So this is very important. Again, when every day when you eat this shloka 13, people normally chant to 14. Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva Praninam. They chant 13 as well together. Very important. What 13 and 14 Bhagavan says is, Arjuna, so when we sit for eating, he says, Annam is soman. That is, I am there in the food as a soma. The soma is the soman. And in your as a eater, because you can't really, we think we put the food in the mouth, we think we are eating. But he says, you are truly not able to eat unless because I am there in you as a Vaishwanara. Vaishwanara is Agni. So that motility, you say that in your body, by which you are able to consume the food into and then dissipate it into different parts of the body for nourishment as apana, everything, that also is me. So he says, annam is me, the eater is me, and you are just a person taking from the plate or something and putting it into the mouth. That is the efficacy of this 13 and 14 shloka. So that is why I want to say Gama Visha, because what we do before sitting when we chant the shloka, we also look at the food and say, this particular food in front of me is a soman. Bhagavan is there in that food as a soman. And the one that is going to now inside and digest it, and for me to nourish it the way that I require, he is there as a Vaishwanaraha. That is Vaishwanara Agni. And what I'm doing, taking the soman, doing a havis, like a yajnam. What do you do normally? You take a havis, put it in the agni in front of you. But here what I'm doing it and putting it in the agni inside me. So that's why it is also known as Vaishwanara Agni Homam. Vaishwanara Agni Homam. It is also known as, it's also sometimes called Soma Agni Homam, but it is also called Vaishwanara Agni Homam. So the act of eating itself is like a homa. So that's why I said, Aham Vaishwanara Bhuta Praninam Deham Ashritaha. I am there in every one of those body, whether it's a human body or anything in this jantu in this world. And how do they eat? When they eat, pranapana samayuktaha. That how that, because prana is the one that you consume, and apana is what you dissipate. But what you discrete, but all of them, the energy put together, upana, samana, everything, I am there as the energy to get that into you as a nourishment. Chaturvidam. Chaturvidam means in 4 different ways, that either by licking or by sucking or by chewing, and another by swallowing. So by this, because all the ones in this world, either one chews the more, one of them, or one licks the more, like any other animal or anything. But by these 4 different categories of the consumption in the mouth, I kind of digest everything for the people into their body. So Annam is also me, the eater is also me. And another thing what Bhagavan says, the one that somehow, why Bhagavan has to put it here is, not only we should take as the food, anything we consume. Devina, go ahead, Ji.
Babu, so this is actually can be relatable to the Brahmarpanam Shlok.
No, that's different. That also can be
Brahma
related.
Have,
No. That also you can relate it. Yes. Brahmarpanam, Brahmave, Brahmagno, Brahmanahutam, Brahmaiva Tena Gantavem, Brahma Karma Samadhina. There also you can certainly take it, because there also everything is taken as Brahman. Certainly you can take it. Yeah. No, you can take it. 100% correct.
Gee, I could find the similarity. That's why I thought I'd
No,
check
yeah,
with
that's right.
you.
No, it can, you
उसमें
can
भी
take it.
सब Brahman
Yeah. There,
वही सब करते हैं.
हाँ. That also you can take it. Yes. Certainly you can take it. Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Ji. Welcome. So here, and also the actions we do in that one, when we say, okay, this part, eating is one action, but Bhagavan is given. This can be applied in every other action we do in the world. That's why the purport of these 2 shloka Bhagavan has given. In the consumption, as a consumer in this world. So Bhagavan says, whatever the consumed object is also there, and the consumer is also me. You are just a transgress medium. And then if you are to consume like this, then there is no attachment. Take eating only as an example. See, that's why Bhagavad Gita is so nice. He gives one example, but we have to apply that in the other ones of actions we do. Then it becomes very efficacious, and then it becomes more applicable, because then what happens is the detachment automatically comes. Right? So, and that is why Bhagavan says, Sarvasya chaham mriti sannivishtaha. Similarly, Arjuna, in all of this, what you see in this world, Hriti, meaning to say, in your heart, sannivishtaha, I am the one remaining in all of them. Now he's going one level up from just being a consumer, like the knower. He says, Mattaha smriti jnanam. If at all you are able to get that jnanam to apply this in every action, it is only me. And if at all you have forgotten this apohanancha, if it is something that you have forgotten because of your the nature, that forgetfulness also is actually from me. So I am the one who brings the jnanam to you, and I am the one by which sometimes you forget it because of your deeds, whatever happens. And Vedaischa sarvair ahameva vedyo vedanta krita veda vidav chaham. So what Bhagavan really wants to do is get our akandakara vriddhi in all of them, so that we shed the ego in every action we do. Very simple as that. That's the purpose of this Bhagavan's action. That if you are able to apply slowly like this, because eating is why Bhagavan also very cleverly about this. Eating is something we do daily without fail, maybe every 3-4 hours. So from that action, because it's one of the main consumption everything in this world do for living, and with that, in everything we do in our office work or every other thing, then it makes the detachment very easy and in a very with a egoless saying that, look, I'm not really the doer of that particular consumption or action. So that's why Bhagavan again wanted to say this. And by doing that, he says, certainly you can get that. Vedaischa ahameva vedyaha. I am the one who is also knowing this. So he says, even you can take it one more level. You have studied all this knowledge and you want the knowledge to come into a kind of an aparokshanubhuti, meaning to say a realized knowledge. Don't worry, that knowledge also I will bring it to you if you do in this Asanga Shastram. That is why the Asanga Shastram only Bhagavan is bringing all these things. And he says, by this, that jnanam, that jnana chakshushaha, how you get it, that also I will bring it to you. So you see the beautiful way Bhagavan brings the Akandakara Vriddhi, by which we are able to apply this into ourselves, very personalized. And then Bhagavan wants to now again a little bit extend this into the Purushotama Tattvam. And so for that, now he again comes back into this. He says, Ime Loke, that is in this Loka, there, Arjuna, there are two type of Purusha, he says. One is called Dvavimo, means Dvav Imo Purusha. There are two Purushas in this world, in this Vriksha, again, Ashwatha Vriksha. One Bhagavan is saying, Kshara Purusha, and another is a Akshara Purusha. Sarvani Bhutani Kutastaha. Okay. The kshara means normally, that which is depleting. We need to say that's getting destroyed at every second. Kshara. Like our body is all, we are getting aged every second, right? So that means the shariram is a kshara bhutam. Shariram is a kshara bhutam. So he says, sarvani bhutani kshara. Sarvani bhutani kshara. So the kshara purusha is the one which is this gross element in this whole world, which is always in the constant cycle of decay. All the decaying objects are the kshara purushaha. So the branches there, the branches are all kshara purushaha. And kutastaha akshara. Here kutastaha means maya. And which is the maya in the samsara vriksha? The first tree, we said, the first trunk from where all the branches came, that is what Bhagavan is calling akshara purushaha. And we said urdhva moolam, that Brahman is Paramatman, that Bhagavan is calling as Purushotama. He'll come into this, but I'm just draw the picture before itself. So I don't want to I want to keep the people tree also in this, because it's beautifully relates to all this shloka as well. So the branch, the 7.54 billion branch, everything which is planting tree, they are all like all of us. That's all is or anything. It could be even a small bird, even a small worm. So why only take humans as a branch? Even a small bird, anything, all that ones. Okay, so all of them as a kshara purusha. Then the akshara purusha is the kutastaha. Kutastaha normally means, kuta is also known as Rashi, but let's not go too much into the meaning because time is limited. Kutastaha is that main trunk. The first trunk we said, that is the Akshara Purushaha, he says here. Do not confuse with Akshara Brahma Yoga or anything there, please. Just only keep the people tree. The Akshara Purusha, because he is very clear, says, Kutastaha Akshara Uchate. So that here Kutastha means Maya. And Maya is Anadi. We know. We never know when the first one happened, when the last one will go. There will be so many Chaturmukha Brahma born, so many Chaturmukha Brahma born before. So that whole thing is the Kutastara Akshara Uchaha. Then Bhagavan, he says there's a third one, Uttamaha Purushaha Anyaha Paramatma Yudakritaha Yolokatrayama Vishya Vivartyavyaya Ishvara. This Ishvara, when we say here, is the Brahman here. We should not take it as a God who is sitting with a personalized God. Here Ishvaraha means he is the Uttama Purushaha. That is why Purushotama. See, Purushaha Uttama is equal to Uttama Purushaha. The same compound word, different into this one. That's all. So that Purushotama, Uttama Purushaha, Anyaha to Anyaha. Anyaha means what? Different. Different from what? In the previous sloka, the Kshara Purusha and Akshara Purusha. So there is one entity, Bhagavan says, which is, all three are clusters. So the Akshara Purusha is one cluster of entities. Akshara Purusha's cluster of entities, that's Maya. And he says the Ishvaraha, who is the Paramatma, Brahman, he is the one who is apart from these two. Apart from these Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha, and he is the Paramatma. Paramatma iti Udakritaha. He is the one who is known as a Paramatma. And he is the one, that Paramatma, who is the one who is gone into all the world, and he is sustaining this world. Mean to the substratum of this whole existence. The substratum of whole existence is Brahman. So that Brahman is the Paramatma. And that Paramatma is he also called Ishvara and everything. Okay, from a absolute context here. Okay, so and then says that's what he said. Yasmat karamati toham aksharada vichottamaha atosmi loke vedescha pratithaf purushottamaha. This Uttama Purusha is the Purushottama, who is which what he said, who is different. When he said different, Atita, Yasmat Akshara Atita, meaning say there is really no three entities. Really, there is no three entities. But it is as if. It is as if, because the Urdhva Moolam is not there, Kshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha is not there. And really, Bhagavan has also said, Aham Avishya Bhutayam. So he is the one who is also given to he is the one who has given every one of them. Right? But what he wanted to say, this is just for the context of, in the sense of this Akshara and Akshara Purusha, and that Brahman is not into this particular Maya, and in the is not into the like a Akshara Purusha. And that Purushottama, that Brahman, Parabrahman, Yomameva Sammudha Janati Purushottamam, the Sarvavid Bhajati Mam, Sarva Bhavena Bharata. So the 19th and 20th sloka, with that, Bhagavan is going to finish. So in the 19th and sloka, what Bhagavan says, Hey Bharata, Yaha Asammudaha. Asammudaha means the most wise man, the wisest of the wisest, who is devoid of the delusion of this Kshara and Akshara Purusha, of the Kutastha Maya, Mam Eva Purushottamam. Mam Eva Purushottamam Janati. That means it say that Brahma Jnanam, for that Jnana Chakshushaha, with a Yatantaha, who has thus realized it, that Janati, who has realized it, he is the one, Sarvavid. He is the knowledge, he is Sarvajnaha. He is meaning to say his knowledge is absolute knowledge. He does not need to know anything more. Sarva Bhavena Bharata. In Sarva Bhavena Mam Bhajati. Sarva Bhavena Mam Bhajati means by this, this person is no different from me. He is not different from me in every other context. So Bhagavan wants to give that person, the knower of this Brahman knowledge, as well as in the ultimate pedestal, because he is that Purusha, Jnani Bhakta. Because Bhagavan said, Jnani tu Atmaivam, that one. So again, putting the Jnani Bhakta is the one who has done this knowledge of Purushottamaha. And again, Bhagavan finishes, Iti Gukyatamam Shastram Idamuktam Mayanaga Etat Buddhiman Syat Kritakrityascha Bharata. So that is why Kritakrityaha, by they chant this particular sloka. See, Kritakrityaha means one who has performed all duties. So the people normally sit on for food, having performed all the duties. But that is not only that, by knowing this particular one, knowledge, the purport on this particular one is Bhagavan says, this is the Shastram, idi Gukhyatamam Shastram. Meaning to say, this is such a beautiful knowledge which has got treasure of knowledge in this one. Shastram, this itself is the Gita Shastram, which is, and Adi Shankara Bhashya goes like pages for this one. And he says this, if you read this more and more and apply to in every direction that once you can, he says this Shastram is so potent, so powerful that either Muktam Shastram itself, this is the Gita Shastram, either in this, everything is embedded in this. He says, Yetat Buddhva Buddhiman Syat. Syat means become the ultimate jnani. And not only that, Krita Krityaha Bhuya. Meaning to say, you shall become the fulfiller of all the duties ever even you have to create. And so that is the power of this particular Purushotama Yoga Shastram. So with that, I will finish. And Bhagavan has said, as you said in this one, lot of logical statements from beginning. From the people tree, and also he encompassed how even though we may be in this particular tree, how the moksha for the mumukshu, that to understand that I am somehow born, that I want to be away from this one is very important, for which the vairagyam is very important. Only with the vairagyam that jnanam really becomes a mumukshu, because jnanam alone is not enough. The mumukshutvam is very important. For that, understanding the futility of existence in the tree is very important, Bhagavan said. And once he has understood the futility and wants to get out of this bondage, he understands it's a virtual bondage, but he does not know where to take the virtual acts. Right? Because virtual bondage equals virtual acts. But then he says it starts from within you. That's why he says yatanto hyabijonteya purusha. But for that, indriya nigraham is important, because with the indriya nigraham, Arjuna, the less and less that you go outside, get caught in that one. And that is Asanga Shastram, Bhagavan said. And with that, he said, and for the energy, how you get for all these things, I am there in you. And it is only that you are taking the vasana, and in every time you detach this one, the detachment comes as well with you as a vasana to progress in the positive sense in every birth, Arjuna. But if you had to go in the other direction of attachment, that will also come and bind you more and more. So there are two pitfalls, Bhagavan said. There's a positive side and negative side of this recyclical thing, but you can use it to your advantage, he says. And that is why he said also in every action, like say for in eating, he says anything, the consumed object is also me, the consumer is me, and you are only an agent. By you developing that even from a daily action of eating, if you can see, he says in everything you can apply to get that detachment in practice. Because detachment, though it's in mental, if it needs to put it in practice, he says the eating is one particular incident that you may all do every time, because every jantu in this has to do. So that's why he has taken up that example. And having said that, again, he said the knowledge after doing that practice is very much in you, and that knowledge, I am the one who will bring it to you. If you do not have any doubt in that one, as we said, jnanam smriti apohanancha. Okay, so he says, and for that again, Purusham Prapatye, I am there as you in all of them. And again, he wrapped up the Akshara Purushaha, Akshara Purushaha, and he said, in all of them, do not worry too much into this tree. What your concentration should be is the Purushotama. That's why he says, you don't have to know the Maya. Maya can say, I'm trying to wrap up everything quickly, but don't worry. If you again read the shloka and listen to this, and again, it will make much more sense to this. So what Bhagavan says, that is why he says, Yoma meva sammurga janati. We don't need to know the Akshara Purusha, Akshara Purusha. You can never ever know. Maya can never be known. But only thing what I need to know is the Brahma Jnanam. And that Brahmajnanam, once you have got it, he says, that is what is the Gukhyatamam Shastram. The secret in the Shastram is about knowing the Purushottama or the Brahmajnanam. And that once you have known, and once you have done all your Abhyasa and Vairagya, and that you become a Krita Krityascha Bharata. With that, Om Tatsat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Purushotama Yogo Nama Panchadashodhyayah Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So I have done a reasonable justification, in my opinion, in the little time what I can do. Though I would have gone some more in each one of them. But let me know in this any question, and if you have any doubts, please ask me. Sashi Bhaiya, Chandrasekhar ji, Maithili, Yatish Bhaiya, Ganapati Raman,
Well, as
Subramanian.
you said, we need to go back and probably listen to it once more. It's a really very, very deep
Deep, yes, it's a deep,
chapter,
very
very deep chapter.
very deep.
Here,
It's not like
where the Bhagwan has said everything, like how to really get to the moksha.
yes,
He's trying to get one or the other way back to moksha, how to get rid of this janma
yeah,
and
yeah.
mrityu loka.
Yeah. Maybe after doing the summary once, maybe we can do verse by verse, but that we can try. That's no problem. But if you again listen to this one again and do the shloka, it will probably even be very good as well. And the main
Yeah.
thing is to again take the concept. That's very important.
Thank you, Babaji.
Okay,
I think this is not an easy shloka. Like this, especially this chapter 15, as you said, it's the essence, and it's not easy. You have to, unless you have understanding of the previous shlokas, and then you'll be able to compare and then see the essence of it. Though here it is the beautiful description of the Aswathama, the people tree, from which you have to change the perception itself towards the Paramatman. Advaita Tattvam from pure Advaita Tattvam. The Purushottama and Ishvara, here is talking from the point of as Nirguna Brahman.
Yes,
isn't
yes,
it?
of course.
Absolutely, not Saguna Brahman. So
No.
that's what Ishvara can be, terms can be different, different context.
Yeah, it's Nirguna Brahman. Yeah, Brahman is Nirguna. Brahman itself Nirguna. Yeah. That's what Bhagavan's Purushottama is. Nirguna Brahman is what Bhagavan is saying. But other schools may say something else, but
Sankhya's may have a different thing. They're totally different.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's
okay, no problem.
It's difficult to do it in a short time.
I know. Okay, Ji.
Thank you. Thank you.
Purnamadav Purnamidam
Purnamidam
Purnamudachyate
Purnamudachyate
Purnasya
Purnamataya
Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti.